I guess let's start with a quick hitter. Let's start with a quick hitter.
Okay.
The CJGJ news. CJGJ is traded to the Houston Texans in exchange for former first-round guard Quinyon Green. Quinyon Green goes to the Eagles. CJGJ goes to the Texans. Quinyon Green ultimately is cut by the Eagles.
Yes.
Then brought back, then cut, then brought back again. CJGJ, a guy who was projected to put up some pretty hefty amount of snaps for them, gets released after 3 games, after week 3. Now, granted, the Texans are 0-3. I don't think defense is the problem. No. I think their problem is offense and just overall offensive operation. But nonetheless, CJGJ was released after only 3 games. 3 weeks with the Houston Texans.
Yeah.
And now there's a flurry. There's been a robust amount of opinions saying the Eagles should consider, or not even just consider, they should go outright and bring back CJGJ. So
yeah, that's a big fat note from me.
I'm glad. Okay, you already went there. Before I get my opinion, break down why it's a big fat no for you.
Okay, so when I heard the information, the first thing I did, I got a Twitter friend who's been a follower for a while, who's got boots on the ground in Houston. He lives in Houston. Mm-hmm. So immediately I hit him up and I said, is this D'Amico Ryans making a statement? And he said, yes, him talking about CJGJ and Stroud were apparently button heads.
CJ and Stroud?
Yeah. And then you hear about him complaining that they're not using him right. He wants to blitz more, this, that, and the other. And I'm like, first of all, D'Amico Ryans is the defensive coach. If anybody knows what they're doing on defense, is him. So, but when you go after CJ Stroud, you can't go after the face of the franchise, even though he has had some subpar games. Now, mind you, you're talking to the man that walked up into Tom Brady's face and started yapping to him when CJ was with the Saints and Brady was still with the Bucks. So you're talking about somebody that ain't scared to speak their mind. However, just because you can say something don't mean that you should. It seems to me that this Ego Ryan's protecting the colt because you got a talker in there. And just because somebody talks a lot, it doesn't mean that they talking a lot of shit. I would imagine that some of the things that CJGJ were saying were probably true. However, like I just said, just because you can say something don't mean that you should. And you got to protect the integrity and the relationships in that locker room. There's a way to go about things. There's a way. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. All of that type of stuff comes into play. And, you know, CJ Gardner-Johnson is not one to bite his tongue at all.
And the thing is, the reality is, CJ, with all due respect, you're not being paid for your opinion. You're not being paid to be right. You're paid to do your job and your job only. Whatever decisions are made offensively, front office wise, when it comes to what plays are called, that's not up to you. Your job is to execute. And for me, just based off everything you said, it makes you think about how Howie Roseman got to the decision that he made. Because my whole position is, for all the people who want to scream to the mountaintop to bring CJ back, I look at CJ Gardner-Johnson as a guy who's talented, but has continued to struggle to play his role and be a soldier. And again, CJ is a talented brother. This ain't got nothing to do with skill set. I'm sure he could help the Eagles from a football perspective. But unfortunately, when it comes to the NFL, it's never just about football.
Right.
There's relationships that have to be nurtured, relationships that have to be protected. There's politics involved. There's business. There's there's so many moving parts outside of just sending you on a blitz. And when you're the new guy in the building, when they traded for you, and the Eagles essentially did you a solid, trading you to what we thought was a situation where you could win some football games and potentially be in contention for the division and the playoffs. Now, obviously, what's going on with the Texans, far outstretch what CJGJ could or couldn't do. Their problems seem deeper than just CJGJ. Right. But again, when you become, if somebody already got a cold and you coming in their house and you're not washing your hands, you sneezing on everything,
that's a problem.
You're not helping their problem.
Correct.
You're not helping their issue. They already got issues on offense trying to figure out what's going on with their franchise quarterback and CJ Stroud. He's losing money by the week. CJ Stroud, that is.
You ain't lying where.
And for you to come in as a newcomer to this culture who has no equity with this organization, again, we're not there. But if I'm going off of what you were told and the alleged actions CJGJ took since being there, you have no equity in this organization. You have no equity with these players. Maybe you went to college with some of those guys. Who knows? Maybe you know a guy or two. But you have no equity in that culture or that organization. You don't go in there and start talking about what they should and shouldn't be doing with you. You don't go in there talking about the franchise quarterback. That's a quick way to get your ass out the building.
Especially not a defensive coach.
Right. Especially the number one overall pick.
Yeah.
The first round pick, CJ Stroud, is supposed to be their guy. And again, he's struggling right now. But I think he'll figure it out at some point. I think he's talented enough.
Everybody get a turn, bro.
But CJ, again, Eagles fans, if Howie Roseman felt like he had to get off that train before it started moving too fast, and if D'Amico Ryans, matter of fact, I'll put it this way, Howie Roseman, a guy who typically puts winning at the forefront, who is dealing with Jalen Carter as we speak.
Facts.
If he decided to move on from you after winning a Super Bowl and how integral you were, and if Nick Caserio, the GM for the Houston Texans, decided to move on from you after 3 weeks, we're never talking about waiting to the trade deadline. They could have got something for him, I'm sure. They said, nah, we're just going to wash our hands of this. Think about that.
And I think somebody posted this. I saw it earlier, and it was a good call out. Somebody from down in Houston area. I think he works at the local ESPN affiliate or something down in Houston. And he was breaking down film, and it was a play that they got scored on. And he was just highlighting how CJ Gardner-Johnson did the wrong. He blew the coverage. CJ Gardner-Johnson was supposed to protect the deep inside, and he went outside and left the strong safety all alone. And he said it, and he was 100% right. He was like, watch what the safety does after the dude scores a touchdown. As soon as the guy gets in the end zone, the dude throws his hands up, looking back like, yo, where were you at? Where was my help? And he explained the coverage and what everybody's assignment was. And he showed how CJ Gardner-Johnson, either he made a mistake or he just kind of like Chris Jones, he bit on the out, and he was supposed to protect the deep middle, and they got burned on it. So that could have a little bit to do with it, because what you're not going to do is bitch, moan, and complain, and you making mistakes. That's the worst thing you can do in the meeting room. You trying to call somebody out, and they got receipts? Like, nah, you can't do that. That, like you said, Tone, you got to learn how to play soldier, and you got to pick and choose your times. This might not be the time for that type of battle when you got mistakes on the board too. So to me, it goes back to personality. You can be a good player, but if your personality don't mix with the other guys in the locker room, you're going to always have problems. Now, problems always happen. But the only thing that can get over a problem is the relationship. Everybody got family. Everybody fights with family, but the relationship trumps the problem. If you ain't got that relationship because you haven't been there but for 5-6 weeks, you was there in camp, you played 3 games, and already they sick of you.
They didn't even decide to trade you. Again, they could have got something for him.
Correct.
They said, nah,
no thanks.
We'd rather cut bait.
Deuces.
That tells you everything you need to know. Teams are all about asset retention.
Correct.
Teams put asset retention at the forefront. Teams tolerate. I'm sure every team has a personality that they're tolerating right now because that player is phenomenal.
Absolutely. Bruh.
But what happens? But what happens when? What happens when the antics?
You just triggered me real quick when you said that. I just want to let you know. I can tell you some stories from when I was in Scotland.
Seriously.
Exactly. And oh my God.
Think about it. What happened when your antics, when your actions outweigh your value as a player, as an asset?
Yeah.
And they just decide, you know what? We're just gonna
good.
We're just gonna cut you. We're good.
Yeah.
They traded you. The Eagles traded you for a guard that they cut.
They traded you for a backup.
Why would anybody think Howie Roseman is thinking about scratching that itch again?
Nah. Now, if it was Isaiah Rodgers or if it was Slay, I could see him picking up the phone.
Exactly.
But CJ, I posted somebody. I was like, listen, we don't need a safety. We need a cornerback. Let's keep that.
Absolutely, because I think Makuba is playing well.
Absolutely. That's the last thing you need is CJ Gardner-Johnson in his ear.
And I also think people are. I also think it makes the argument easier for people who want CJ back. It makes the argument easier when Reed Blankenship gave up that touchdown over the top to Devontae.
Correct.
So people are already sensitive about the safety position because of what Reed did or didn't do. Right? But let's just be frank about this. I understand CJ was very productive here. He helped us win the Super Bowl, helped us make it to 2 Super Bowls. This has nothing to do with his value as a player. And I have no idea what went on behind the scenes within both organizations. I have no idea. But for him to get traded for a guard that gets cut, and then for him to get cut by a team who has playoff aspirations within 3 weeks. And on top of that, when their biggest problem isn't even on the defensive side.
Correct. And they let you walk.
Nobody got questions? Eagles fans, I'm asking y'all don't have questions? Y'all don't have concerns?
Yeah,
y'all not scratching your head like, damn, he just got there.
You got to look at you got to look a little deeper.
They could have traded him.
You might want to find out who made that potato salad. That's all I'm saying.
Think about that. Ask why they didn't. Eagles fans, though, for those of you who want him back, ask why they didn't even trade him. Ask why they didn't even bother to wait to the deadline. Ask. Think critically.
Facts.
A problem is so bad, you'd rather just cut bait than try to salvage or get something back from it.
To get some value from it. That means you don't want to be bothered. You want to get that car. You want to get that car out of your yard so bad. Take it. $300. Just take it.
You don't want to trade it in. You don't want to trade it in. You just want to get it out. You just tired of it.
I'm tired of seeing it.